But I think it's not so much having something to do with me that turned the tide. I mean, the reason to put the information out there is just because of who he is. It's the truth. I just know one thing, like Justin is really is a great guy. I wish this was more about him and less about negativity, frankly.
Blake Lively and Justin Balin's relationship unraveled in plain sight, but the real reason stayed hidden until now. Attorney Bryan Freedman has revealed explosive evidence that sheds light on the feud. In just minutes, you'll uncover the moment Blake turned on Justin, the secret power struggle behind the scenes, and the shocking behavior Freedman says drove Blake to the edge. This is the untold truth behind a Hollywood fallout no one saw coming until now.
You being accused of something that you just didn't do, you just weren't part of, and you're caught up in this, and you're a real decent human being, and this is a powerful thing that you're going through, and your whole career seems to have been gone and vanished before your very eyes.
Here are the key terms that I think are important to go through as we go through what's happening. Baldoni, who's the star and director, got the rights to this movie, okay? So he was the one who found it all, and he was the one who was getting it into the world. Many competing studios wanted it. He has the rights. He was able to not only get the rights, but then when he made the film, direct it, which was always part of the plan, but then also got to star in it as it became popular on his own. So he's a star director, and he makes this movie, and now all this stuff happens. Now, to add to it, he's apparently hired Melissa Nathan, a crisis PR manager who specializes in reputation management. In fact, she represented Johnny during the Amber Heard trial, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter sources also said there was a fracture amongst the filmmakers in post-production, and that Lively, who was a producer on the film as well, commissioned her own cut of the film from editor Shane Reed, who was the editor on Husband, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Wolverine. It's pretty massive, like, yo, dude, I'm going to make my own cut and use my husband's editor on a better film. But yeah, we'll be back in touch. But let's see if we can make a better movie. Now, sources also say that's not rare in Hollywood for multiple cuts to be done, but for the star to take it and do her own cut, who won? Which cut did we see? So it's created a lot of questions as to, well, what did that actually mean? Now, fans on social media also noticed that Lively and Baldoni have not been seen together at all. They've been doing press for the movie, and they're always separated, always doing different things. They're never together. They also analyzed the social media and noticed Baldoni follows Hoover, the author, and Lively, while neither of them are following him back. Other cast members have also been seen not following him, which they were previously. Lively said Reynolds wrote one scene that is reportedly a fan favorite from the book, sparking speculation about whether there were disputes with Baldoni over creative control. Multiple unnamed sources told Hollywood Reporter that Reynolds did not write the entire scene. So the rumors are Reynolds came in, was rewriting a lot of the movie. It's been confirmed he helped a bit. Justin's confirmed this. Did he come in and write more? Now, again, I don't know if Ryan was trying to cause conflict there. He's trying to help his wife's movie. Maybe she felt certain ways. I ain't mad at that. But was there stepping on toes is what the issue is. Lively told Hits Radio about the clash she sat on set, which she said she is not supposed to be talking about, though she did not specify who it is with, claiming they begged her to remove a Lana Del Rey song from the film. Baldoni told Elle on Monday that there's always friction that happens when you make a movie like this, but that friction is what creates beautiful art. It's true. Forbes has reached out to representatives and no, nothing.
For years, Blake Lively has been known as America's Golden Girl, the glamorous actress who rose to fame on Gossip Girl and seemingly built a picture-perfect life with a fairy tale marriage to Ryan Reynolds, charming children, and successful lifestyle ventures. She managed to appear both aspirational and relatable. Her Instagram feed showed an enviable balance: red carpet elegance one day, homemade cookies with the kids the next. To the public, she was the celebrity who had it all, effortlessly. But according to powerhouse attorney Bryan Freedman, that flawless image may be more fiction than fact. He recently came forward with shocking allegations that paint a very different picture, one that unfolded behind the scenes during the production of It Ends With Us. The film adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, what was supposed to mark Lively's triumphant return to the big screen, allegedly turned into a behind-the-scenes nightmare, one that could shatter her carefully curated public image. In early press for the film, Lively praised her experience working with director and co-star Justin Baldoni. She shared cheerful behind-the-scenes photos and told Entertainment Weekly, "Justin and I have such similar visions for this project. were completely in sync. But Freedman now claims those comments were a calculated move, part of a deliberate effort to maintain her squeaky clean persona. The first signs of trouble were subtle. Observant fans noticed that Lively and Baldoni never appeared together during press tours. Promotional interviews were done separately, and their social media interactions were non-existent. Scheduled joint appearances were abruptly changed into solo events for Lively, with Baldoni noticeably absent. Her team cited scheduling conflicts, but Freedman says the real reason was far more dramatic. According to Freedman, by that time, the working relationship between Lively and Baldoni had deteriorated so badly that she outright refused to appear in the same room as him. The Blake Lively the public knows is a carefully constructed character, he said in a recent Bombshell press conference. Behind the scenes, my client encountered someone very different, someone who used her dual role as both star and producer to systematically undermine the director's authority. Freedman alleged that while Lively publicly gushed about creative collaboration, privately she was taking control behind Baldoni's back. He cited emails where she demanded script changes without consulting the director. Despite claiming in interviews that the film remained faithful to the novel, according to Freedman, she contradicted Baldoni's creative direction at every opportunity, all while presenting a united front to the public. Perhaps the most damning accusation involved Lively's treatment of the crew. She presents herself as everyone's best friend, Freedman said, but multiple witnesses have come forward to describe a toxic environment, especially for anyone seen as supporting Baldoni. The attorney painted a picture of an on-set power imbalance that he claimed Lively deliberately exploited. With her status as both lead actress and producer, she held significant sway in, according to Freedman. She used that leverage to override Baldoni's directorial decisions whenever they clashed. My client entered this project expecting a true collaboration, he stated. Instead, he found himself working with someone who viewed the producer title as a license to control every aspect of the production. These revelations challenge the golden image Blake Lively has long maintained and suggest a far more complicated and contentious reality behind one of Hollywood's most anticipated films.
4 projects, significant projects, the studio. There's obviously the reputational and emotional distress harm. He's got 2 little kids that pay attention to what goes on in the world. His wife is devastated, and there's others involved in this too that have lost significant business and personal relationships.
I've said it a million times that you raised the Titanic in this case, because but for Bryan Freedman, Justin Baldoni would have been crushed in this matter, and that's where it was headed, and it was headed for him to be crushed. When you see the kinds of things that were left on the cutting room floor, literally, in that New York Times article, it's infuriating.
But that's against the New York Times, and I get that, and that is kind of separate. I guess what I'm wondering is if Blake Lively, the last thing she wants is to take the stand. She doesn't want her husband to take the stand. She doesn't want Taylor Swift to take the stand, nor do they want to take the stand. So if they came to you and just said, we will basically call this a massive misunderstanding, can we just drop it? Would you entertain it? I'm curious.
I mean, he was called a sexual predator. So are they saying he's still a sexual predator, but it's a misunderstanding?
Harvey, when you're in the middle of representing one of these people who's in the eye of a storm, and Brian's done it a zillion times, I've done it a fair amount of times, you need to be vindicated, because at the end of the day, you're not, no amount of money will get you back to square zero. To your point, Harvey, as many people didn't know Baldoni as they knew Lively. However, Lively, be careful what you wish for, has, the public has gone full Amber Heard on her. And Baldoni could have been defined, as Brian just said, as the sexual predator, but for the magnificent job he's done here. So, it's a horrible body blow to have to take and have, can't leave your house. I don't know, and I haven't asked you this, Brian, but I'm going to assume he's got round-the-clock security and his family's had to be relocated and the whole bit.
I mean, there's certainly that invasion of privacy that goes on, but I think it's not so much having something to do with me that turned the tide. I mean, the reason to put the information out there is just because of who he is. It's the truth. It's just the truth. And the reality is that had there been these horrible things, and had there been these horrible text messages, had there been this horrible information, that stuff would have been put out there too.
Bryan Freedman is doing his job. This is what he does. It's a winning strategy, and he pretty much can't lose at this point, it seems, because Blake's been unable to provide anything realistic. She thinks she has it all, but sources are saying that no, she does not. There's so much more that Baldoni and Freedman have on Lively. They just gave a taste on the website. They're showing a little ankle, but not the whole leg, if you know what I mean. I'm sure she wouldn't approve of that reference. Too sexist. The reason? Freedman is going to annihilate Lively on the stand during depositions. She thinks she knows what they have, everything that's on the website, so she can prepare for that, but she can't prepare for what she doesn't know they have. And again, they have a lot. According to the sources, they have troves more of stuff that has not been seen publicly: emails, texts, calls, videos. If you think Blake looked shocked during SNL, wait till you see her face during deposition. Justin kept everything. Now, why? Why would he have kept everything? That's a good question. Well, did you think he did something wrong? Or could the, interactions on set have been so uncomfortable for some, it was just because of the way he is culturally with his religion? I want to go through some of these pieces because, hear me out. Here it is. So, from the outset, the Feud's been framed as the newest chapter in Hollywood's ongoing fight for gender equality. It's rekindled this dormant debate about SH and power dynamics, and we'll see how it plays out, but there's another possibility, one that has less to do with gender than it does with simple cultural misunderstandings. What if much of it, the alleged inappropriate hugging, which Blake mentioned in her new amended suit, the pre-filming praying, could be explained as a clash between a very specific faith-driven community with its unique mores and a much more modern post-Me Too one with its own set of beliefs and commandments? It's a good point. It's a good question. They went through and interviewed many people, past colleagues, etc., and people in the faith, and people of Justin's background, and they talked about it. They went into more detail. Speaking to someone, the Justin that I know isn't capable of doing the things that he's accused of doing because he truly sees himself as his feminist. But Blake clearly got grossed out. I honestly feel like it was the perfect storm of two opposing personalities. When Baldoni and Wayfair execs hold meetings, they often start by asking participants to go around the table and share something private, something that brings them joy and has nothing to do with their jobs or their career. In certain professional circles, like those of yoga instructors or doulas, this type of icebreaker might be welcomed, but among time-crunched agents, entertainment lawyers, studio execs, Blake Lively's, folks not exactly known for their touchy-feely ways, a gesture like this nature comes with risks. In my head, I was like, I'm sorry, are we at Cafe Effing Gratitude? Said a female executive at a production company who sat down with Wayfair executives last year, including Baldoni. Why are you imposing your culture on this meeting that's being held at our offices? I can't explain exactly why, but it made me so uncomfortable. Speaking about more, even before It Ends With Us, Baldoni wasn't afraid to interject elements of his religion on the set. He did talk about his religion a lot, says a source, on 5 Feet Apart. This had shades of Scientology, but with less of the prominence and people hovering at the times. I think that's being mean. Nothing I've done makes it anywhere near the criminal accusations and things that Scientology does, so nipping that in the bud. No one's proved that at all.